Okay, today's task is to get all the wiring done. So the harness has been laid out roughly where I want it, and there's a couple of plugs in there that I'll need to either change in here, like a water temp sense. I've got it at the back of these. The LSs, you can either have them at the front or the back. The harness has it at the front. It's much easier just to put the sensor at the front, then change the harness. The knock sensors are also at the front for some unknown reason. That's where they put them. They actually go to the back from factory, so not sure why they did that. In hindsight, this probably would have been easier when the engine was not in here, because you can sit right up there and struggle with it there, but we're not in that situation now. So there you go, that's the grommet there. It's slightly off centre to the engine bay. The engine centre is probably more like here, but that's fine, that's close enough, and it's more towards the glove box area anyway. So really good, because the transmission harness is really short and it goes to that side of the transmission, so that'll actually help route that. So I've got quite a lot of wires here. They're all labelled, which makes life easier. So that's the injector. As you can see from where it is, this is where it plugs into, just here, and it's routed perfectly for that. So that's really easy. Another thing I've got to do as well, these wires, they're all tangled, so I don't want them parting off where they're tangled, so I've got to untangle them as I route them. So this sub harness here, that's for the transmission, so that will just stay off to the side for now, because it goes down underneath, so I can just throw that over there out of the way. And now I'll just get this all reasonably untangled. So this one here, this is fuel wire, so that can go to the side as well, because that goes down to the back of the car. And then this little sub harness section we've got here has injector even, and it's got cylinder head ground and map sensor. So even side engines, this side of the engine, so you've got, sorry, this is the odd, even's this side. So you've got 2, 4, 6 and 8, and then you've got odd side, which is 1, 3, 5 and 7. So this needs to go to that side of the engine, and it can just sort of hang there for now. This sub harness I've got in here is for knocks. They actually feed from the back. I've got enough sub harness here to get to the front, and here's a knock sensor plug here out of the harness. Oh no, it's ignition. Basically the knocks are really long and it all feeds from the back, so I've got to sort of figure that out. This is a branch here and it's quite a long way down to the engine, so I'll probably pull a lot of this back through. So we can break this branch off into its reasonable sections. So I've got ignition odd, so that's got to stay over here. This one here is oil pressure, that's right at the back of the block, on top of the block, so that can stay there. This obviously needs to get pulled right through, that's way too long. Now I've got, this will be drive-by wire, so this actually has to come up this side of the engine. So this branch that we have here, it needs to start at the back of the engine basically, because I'm going both sides of the engine with this. So ignition odd was this side. We've got cam angle, I'm pretty sure, yes, cam angle. We've got cylinder head ground, we've got throttle, and we've got another sub harness here that's got the knock odd, alternator and coolant temp. So coolant temp on LS's, yeah, it's just, it goes into the cylinder head. Mine's currently down there, but for the sake of this harness, I'm going to move it up to here. This is where most people have it, so this is where I'll just move it up to here for the sake of this harness. Everything's going to be up here anyway. Alternator, however, is going to get relocated to this side of the engine. And as you can see, this branch isn't very long. So we've got coolant temp basically is going to be like this. So there is a sub harness that's got to go onto the alternator, so it might be all right, but basically this harness is going to have to come to here, and then for the alternator feed up underneath the throttle body. And we have here is air temp as well. So they give you one in the kit, as well as an O2 sensor. So that will go in the air intake somewhere. There's no plug on here just yet. It goes actually into the air intake system. So let's get to routing. So there was a bunch of confusion there because I've gone, where is it gone to? This one, oil pressure. It plugs in right there at the back of the motor, right next to your cam angle, and mine's got a block in it. So that sensor's not even there. So I've got to go and get myself a sensor. This one's a fairly short plug anyway, so I'll just leave it hang there. It's weird how they've made that one short, and then right next to it's a cam angle, which is this long one. So it's weird how they've done that. I don't know why. They've made some long and some that are the right length. They're all like that on LS's. I don't think they change them even in Gen 4s. I think they're there. We've got a Gen 4 down the end. It's got both of them at the back. It is an iron block, but I don't think it changed that much, which is kind of strange. While we're on cam angle, you'll see that this one's got to be pinned yet. So depending on what model LS you've got, will depend on the configuration of these wires. So same plug, but different configuration. Don't get these ones mixed up, because you need a very specialised tool to de-pin this. And basically, if you don't have the tool, you're cutting that plug off and buying another plug. So don't fuck this up, because there's unless you've got the tool to de-pin it, there's no turning back. And it's not a tool you can buy at the local auto parts store. They don't have specialty tools like that in stock. So ask me how I know. I've done this before, and it's not fun. The pins in this are very similar to what's in your injectors, and that's where I stuffed up. I put the wrong wire in the wrong hole for the injectors, and basically had to cut the plug off and redo it. So I'll just research what one I've got. I might even just pull that out, because I can get to it. It's just a 10mm bolt that holds it in, and then you can pull it out. It's about that long. It goes right down to your cam. So I'll pull that out and then see if I can find a part number and figure out which one I've got. So I found a bit of information. There's nothing that I understand completely, but I've seen a couple of different things. Basically, 12-volt power goes that side and signal power goes this side, so yellow and red. And all the diagrams that I've seen, that is what looks like it's the most probable thing. So let's do it. Now this does go in a certain way too. That goes down, that goes up. Oh, they do have it labelled there. You can only just see it A, B and C. I can only just see that in the right light. So let me just double check that. A, B and C. So yellow should be A. So they've got the diagram here. So yellow A, yes. And C is red. Black is already in. So we're good to go. Let's put that in there. Push that all the way up. That's in. The same goes with this one. These only go in one way. That just clipped in, that's good. Make sure that's clipped in. You get this retainer that goes in it as well. And we're good. There's a green, I don't know what the green one's for. I don't talk about that. And then the cam angle sensor is just here. So that goes on like that. That's good. Might get a bit more tape or something onto that though, because that's just sort of hanging out in the breeze. I've got that all taped up now, and of course it's too long, so this one is on a tree, so that's as far back as it's going to go, unfortunately, because that branch isn't going back any further because it's got injector in it. It can't physically go back any further. So this will be sort of sitting in the breeze, I would say. So I've got the alternator, and it comes with 3 different breakouts because the LS's came out with 3 different alternators basically, and they're pretty obvious. There's LS 4-pin Delco alternator harness, there's a 2-pin Bosch, and there's a 2-pin Yazaki, whatever that is. Mine's 4-pin, so it narrows it down pretty easily. The other 2, I'm not going to throw these out. This alternator is pretty old. It may or may not work. I think it's only 130 or 140 amp, which I want to upgrade to because, you know, I'm running winches and whatever else off this. But for now, it's all about getting it going. This one's obvious, it's the 4-pin, and we'll just throw that in the breakout. So a bit of an update is I've got all the plugs in their relative spots where they've got to go, and all plugged in and routed, zippy tied off. There's a lot of excess wire from this harness, and because of the way it's been routed in the harness and branches off, I can't get it past the grommet because of how it's sort of laid out. So there's a lot of excess wire sitting in behind the motor. I've decided to just step away from that for a second, and I'll come back to that so I can tidy that up. Now I've just got the task of feeding all this up behind the back. I don't want this to bear any weight on these plugs, so once it's up there I'll plug it all in, and then I'll see if I can, I've got to tidy all that up anyway. I'll see if I can tidy up in a way where it sort of pushes up rather than pulls down, and then zippy tie it off somewhere. So there's quite a few plugs actually to go up in here. There's these ones here. So these are for inputs and outputs. So your outputs, that one there, that's full of synchronized, I'm going to butcher this, synchronized single pulse or whatever it bloody well is. It's basically a digital signal, single pulse, and then there's AVI, which is your analog signals. So that's for that. And then your inputs, they're all DPO. I'm pretty sure that's the way the harness, the pinout buddy describes it, but you can actually output on these as well. So I'm going to have to tap into a couple of these. So I'm going to have to bring over a wire from the ignition over to here as an input and assign that wire to be the trigger for the starter motor basically. So that'll start, and I've already got the 25 amp 12 volt cable that came in the harness that I'm going to run down to the starter, and that will be how I start the thing. So I'm trying to do away from the Jeep harness as much as possible. So it's just a trigger wire. Hopefully that'll pay off. This wire here, this gets fed across to the ignition barrel as well. This has got to be hooked up to an ignition power that stays on during cranking. So this basically turns on your ECU and then keeps it on while you're cranking. If that's not hooked up to a constant source of power when you're trying to crank, basically your ECU will turn off and you won't be able to start it. You won't even be able to crank it because I'm running cranking through the ECU as well. So it'll just be dead. So this one, where is it? This plug here, this is connector E. So this has got your 25 plus amp auxiliary, red and blue. That's the one I'm going to run down to the starter. It's got your fuel pump in it. It's got the fan in it, and it's got ignition and injector supply. So that's all on that. So you've got the inputs and outputs. So this, I don't know which one's what. You can't fuck them up putting them in, but these are your ECU plugs basically. And then on the back of that you got the can out which I'm not using because I've got no CAN devices. Fortunately enough, this has OBD2 as a wideband O2 sensor built into it, so I don't have to run a wideband O2 auxiliary to that. I can just run it straight out of the harness. And we've got more plugs, because we love plugs. This one here, so this one runs up to the TI4L, that's what plugs into that. And then the rest of all the wiring down here, it's all spare. So that is a plug there, by the way. That's just, it says app, but that's basically what you plug your pedal into. So if I just look up, so accelerator pedal position. So that's what that stands for. So you basically just plug in the wire that goes across to your pedal, the Bosch pedal. And if you don't have, I've got a Bosch pedal, so there's just this straight harness. There's another harness you get that's a bigger plug than that basically, which is, I'm pretty sure, the other pedal to what I got. It doesn't like it. Just hitting on the heater core. I could probably force that, but I don't want to. And this is why I want to pull the dash out and get rid of that heater core. Right, it's been a bloody hot minute. We've still got a bit of a mess going on here. I've got Alex here from Eternal Performance. I can't thank this guy enough. This is, well, we don't want to talk too early just yet because we're going to give it a first start. So I'm actually going to do this through the app. So with the Rebel LS, you can actually set up your ECU through the app, but you do have to initiate it through the computer first. So let's go through all the prompts, and then it's going to ask me to hit crank. It'll test the fans, the fuel pump, all that kind of stuff, and then we'll give it a start. All right, I had the radiator out the other day and I forgot to plug it back in. I'll just plug that in and we should be good.
That's right.
Let's test. Nice soft start. Hear the soft start on it?
Yeah.
Yes. Let's go next. So we're going through ignition checks now. So we've got, I don't know how to check them, but not telling me. Oh, crank the engine. Warning, engine may start. So the next step is the crank. We're just going to button up a few things first. We've forgotten a clamp on the radiator hose, stuff like that. And then it's going to go through and check all the ignition calls one by one. So I don't know how this is going to go actually, because it's a first start.
Well, we need to build oil pressure. So.
That's right. You would have thought it would go through oil pressure first.
I think so.
So there's no spark plugs in it anyway, there's no load on it. So
crank it over.
We'll crank it over and it'll do its thing, and hopefully we'll get to a fucking oil pressure thing. Hello. It's trying to go. Too much power steering pressure.
Fucking.
Everything's good on here.
Okay.
Wish I could turn that fucking thing off. That would help a lot.
What if you give it a bit of throttle?
Oh, I've been.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Not happy about it, is it?
No, not really, no.
all them injectors are firing.
Well, it should be. It fucking start up before. You'll know if you can actually give it a proper fucking rev.
I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm literally giving it throttle to keep it going. So we've got it started, but it's not happy about it. Basically, we've determined that the throttle position's all out of whack. It calibrates fine, it does 100%, it actually opens all the way up. So the throttle body's clearly working, it's just that when it gets out of calibration, it only gives us 40%. So I'm trying to determine why it's doing that, and then maybe figure out what that misfire is. So we got it started, but we're having a few dramas with the transmission that we don't know too much about. So it's not getting drive in any of the gears. Everything looks okay. So points to mechanical, which is frustrating because it's a built box. Maybe I got something wrong, I don't know, but that's as far as I can take it from here for this episode. So the next one will be trying to get that thing to go. Righto.